it's his decision, but he needs to come forward now, I think. I know his survival instinct has kicked in, and I know he saw what happened to Philip Schofield, but my God, look at the damage to the BBC. Look at the damage to his friends, to those falsely accused. And the longer he leaves it, the worse it will be for him.
Do you feel, I mean, you talk to the staff at the BBC, do they feel let down by the fact he hasn't stepped forward?
I think, I got a lot of people supporting. I tweeted that basically last night about him, that I do think, this is my tweet, I thought about this very carefully before I sent it. I know the individual concerned. I am very worried about his state of mind and what this is doing to him. I haven't spoken to him, but I gather from somebody who has that he is described as angry and keen to play it long. Now, to me, that means that he wants to be anonymous for as long as possible. At the moment, because this presenter hasn't identified himself and has not been identified, you could almost say anything about the person. And we are going to have, if this isn't closed off, this story, we will have a Carl Beach figure arrive at it. And without a doubt. And you will have some extraordinary untrue allegation, which won't be answered.
Exactly, which is the problem. We need to allow this to actually...
Is it in the BBC's remit to name him? To put it out there?
I think the BBC has behaved with extraordinary decency in this, and I actually, maybe in a minority, I think Tim Davie, the Director General, has done everything right. I think when the story broke in The Sun originally, a lot of people will have said to him, sack the guy. And he was really determined to try to be fair. Now, if he'd thrown the presenter straight under a bus, it would have been better for him, Tim Davie. But he hasn't done. And I actually think as a result of the revelations yesterday, mainly lockdown partly, but also the abusive messages to a young person, which is inexcusable, I think he could sack him.
He has no choice but to sack him.
Well, yeah, but he could, bizarrely, as I understand it, even if the presenter is sacked, the BBC may not be allowed to name them. So this is why it keeps coming back to the presenter, and this presenter has to show some degree of concern for those people, and I'm one of them, who've been falsely accused.
There's obviously a lot of legal stuff going on behind the scenes as well, which is why the situation has become so complicated. But it's also why it's so problematic and unedifying for everyone involved to have this constant speculation. And as you say, to have accusations thrown all around.
Well, listen, I had on the weekend.
To be fair, there isn't that much speculation because
everyone's talking about it all over Twitter.
Who it is. What I was going to say to you was,
I don't think most normal people know who it is. Maybe most people at the beginning of the story.
There are people who work for the BBC and who had to come out at the weekend. Rylan. Nicky Campbell said he had one of the worst weekends
of his life. He's very upset,
And these are presumably people you know and are friends.
Yeah, very well.
This is so...
Lineker, myself, Norton, others. Yeah. I had a situation, I was going to see Bruce Springsteen at the weekend. My wife said, are you going to be safe then? I mean, that's how serious this thing is. And she gave me a baseball cap and said, you better wear this. And imagine if I'm in that situation. It's ridiculous.
So you would say to this person now, it's time you found the courage and came out.
I think it's better for him if he does. I think he needs to... He will have to answer this. And what's happening is all this stuff is aggregating with no response. Now, he must have a defence. He must have one. Maybe he's going to say it's all a misunderstanding. Well, I assume it. But the idea that he can just remain anonymous forever and then one day walk back into the building with his ID pass, oh no, that's not going to happen.